Okay, you need to take care of, you need to have your 8.4 notes out. And first 4 or 5 problems that are in your 8.4b notes, you want to they're all review from different lessons, so you want to go through and do them. So hit pause on the video. Make sure you notice here on number 3 that this is a different problem. So you want to do this problem, not the one that's in your notes, the number 3 you see on the screen. Okay, so you should have the problems finished now. If you don't, make sure you finish them before you watch this. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the review ones real quick. I have the answers written in and we'll just discuss real quick. All right, so number 1, you need to write 2 of the x minus 4s, and then it just becomes a FOIL problem. And so your final answer should be x squared minus x minus 16. Number 2, remember these things are called conjugates where the two parentheses are identical. And so basically you can get away with, you don't have to do the full FOIL, you just do the first times the first and the last times the last. So 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Negative 9 times 9 is negative 81. Number 3, what is the named by degree? So remember you look at the biggest exponent. And so this is a cubic. Number 4 is a subtraction problem. So you need to put the little negative 1 in there and then distribute. And so that gets you to this line. And then once you combine like terms, you should get 5x squared plus 5x plus 3. Make sure you didn't try to multiply here. There's a minus in there, not a multiply. And then number 5, it says to factor. The only factoring we really that we know how to do right now is called factoring by GCF. So there's a 5 and an x in every single term. And so when I take 5x out, I get x to the third minus 3x plus 4. Okay, so now the new part of the lesson. So the next little chunk here, we have all these pictures that have a shaded area. And so the directions say find an expression for the area of each shaded region, write your answer in standard form. So the first problem here is just all numbers. And so we just want to figure out what's the area of the shaded part. And so typically what we do is we take the big square and we subtract the small square. And so the big square, 13 times 13, would give me 169. And then the small square is 5 times 5, which is 25. And so when I subtract them, I get 144, and then it doesn't have any units on there, so typically we put the word units, and so square units. Okay, so that's how we would find the area of the shaded piece when it's all numbers. Now when we do it with algebraic expressions, the big picture is still the same. We're still going to do this, the idea that it's a big square minus a small square. Now I'm going to go kind of quickly, so make sure you hit pause if you need to catch up on your writing or anything like that. All right, so first one here, we have the shaded area. So I'm just going to go with the big one minus the small square. So the big square is x plus 2 times x plus 2, just length times width. The small square is x minus 1 times x minus 1. Now, when you get to this step, you need to treat this just like PEMDAS or Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. We need to do multiplication before we do subtraction. So the first one, I'm going to FOIL it. So I'm going to get x squared plus 2x plus another 2x plus 4 minus, and then over here, x squared minus x plus 1. And so that's just FOILing each of those out. Now I'm going to make each one of them look a little bit nicer by combining like terms. So I'm going to get x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now remember, we're distributing a negative. So the biggest mistake people make on this is they don't put the parentheses in everywhere, and so then they forget to distribute the negative. So I should get x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus x squared plus 2x minus 1. Now it's just combining like terms. X squareds are gone. 4x and 2x gives me 6x, and then 4 minus 1 is plus 3. So this is the expression for the area of the shaded part on the first problem. Second problem. Okay. Second problem, I want you to try on your own, so hit pause, take a look at the first problem, keep it up on the screen here if you need it, and hopefully you have it in your notes obviously right now. Do the second problem, okay? All right, so hopefully what you wrote was big minus small, and then the big one is x plus 5 times x plus 5, and the small one is x plus 1 times x plus 1. So then if I FOIL the first one, over here I'm going to get x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25 minus x squared plus x plus 1. So the left one will turn into x squared plus 10x plus 25. So that's the expression for the big square. And then small square should be x squared plus 2x plus 1. That's the expression for the small square. Make sure you have it in parentheses like you see on the screen. Now I'm going to distribute the negative, so basically what's going to happen is all my signs are going to switch. So x squareds are gone. 10 minus 2 would give me 8x, and then 25 minus 1 would give me positive 24. So 8x plus 24 is what we should have for our answer. If you had 12x plus 26, that means you forgot to switch the signs on this back part, which means you probably forgot to put it in parentheses. So be careful there. That's a common mistake. Okay? All right, last one here that we're going to do together. It says a square brown tarp has a square green patch in the corner. The side length of the tarp is x plus 8, and the side length of the patch is x. What is the area of the brown part of the tarp? Okay, so the first thing I would encourage you to do, draw a picture of our tarp. We know that it's a square. It says a square brown tarp, and we know that it's x plus 8 on each side. Okay. Now our tarp must have a hole in it because we have a green patch that is x by x. And so they want to know, what is the area of the brown part of the tarp, not the green part. Okay, so basically it's the same kind of problem where we're going to go the big tarp minus the small tarp, or the small patch I should put. Okay, so the big one, x plus 8 times x plus 8 minus the small one. Now the small one's easy this time because it's just x by x. So the big one is going to turn into x squared plus 8x plus 8x plus 64. Now because the small one is just this over here, these two little terms, I'm just going to write a minus x squared over here, and I'm not even going to worry about putting it in parentheses. And now I can combine like terms on everything. So the x squareds are gone. 8x and 8x, whoop, forgot my x there. 8x and 8x would give us 16x plus 64. Okay, so that's the assignment that we did, or that's the lesson from 8.4b. On the assignment, it's 2 pages. So 8.4b, I need you to do page 495, 17 through 19. Those are going to be the word problems or the shape problems, just like what we just did. Then page 498, these are all review problems from different sections in chapter 8. I need you to do numbers 3 through 24 and number 26. Okay.